Okay. Should do it. Hopefully. At least I hope so. Punk. Technical difficulties. You have to love it. This time it's on the streaming side of the... Did I return? All right. Edit video again. Because it's being a real pain in the butt lately. Did that do it? All right. Well, did that get it? It's still misbehaving. Okay. Why is YouTube not working tonight? Dang it. That is so stupid. I'm not able to transmit for some reason on YouTube properly. Restreambot is not working. Damn it. Well, this is a pain in the butt. Hey, Brian. I'm just having issues tonight. It's like one thing after another. I don't even know what's going on. It's just stupid restream bot's not working right or something. This is not okay. It, honestly, I'm not happy about, you know, the stupid thing not working. Offline? What? Come on, darn it. Of course it's not working right. No. Well, this is frustrating. I don't care anymore. It's being a butt. I'm just gonna get this broadcast finished. YouTube is grayed out. I don't get it. It was working a few minutes ago and then poof. It decided it didn't want to work. Yeah. Friggin' pain in the butt. Well, spit. Whatever. I'm just going to continue where I was.
And that, where's my...
From the show floor, the new starter from Crusader.
The Intrepid is the newest starter ship from Crusader Industries. Specializing in cargo delivery and lightweight combat, it carries several unique characteristics that set it apart from others of its class. The Intrepid
Bring
carries
back
8 SCU of
Jax,
cargo
folks.
in
Come
2
on.
freight elevators, which also serve as additional entry and exit points in emergency situations. And while its armament might seem modest, the Intrepid bolsters an exceptional size 4 weapon hardpoint, giving it an edge over other starter ships when piloted well. Whilst this starter ship's distinctive design pays homage to Crusader's larger starfighter ships, its dedicated engineering terminal also ensures efficient operations for any challenges ahead. The Crusader Intrepid looks to be a worthwhile entry into IAE's showcase of vehicles aimed at entrepreneurial pilots making their initial foray into industry. And you can find it on this year's show floor to consider for yourself.
Despite official denials by leaders throughout the Empire, sources now confirm the existence of Legionnaires, the UEE's daring, highly trained special mission force. Their purpose, to defend human freedom against Vanduul and the forces
Okay,
of
this is a
tyranny
G.I. Joe
from
reference. I
every
love it.
corner of the galaxy. And they can now be yours in the comfort of your own quarters. The next wave of authentic Legionnaire figures and vehicles. There's Shadow Stranger with Hornet Ghost, Hound Dog with Hornet Tracker, Sandstorm with Tumbril Nova, Dr. Parasite with Terrapin Medic,
What have
Major
it said? Hold
Dauntless
on.
with Crusader Intrepid, and General Jax McCleary with the RSI Polaris. And while the UE
Go back.
figures and vehicles, there's Shadow Stranger with Hornet Ghost, Hound Dog with Hornet Tracker, Sandstorm with Tumbril Nova, Dr.
Tumbril what? What is this?
Hornet Tracker, Sandstorm with Tumbril Nova,
Oh,
Dr. Parasite with Terrapin Medic,
Terrapin
Major
Medic.
Dauntless with Crusader Intrepid, and General Jax McCleary with the RSI Polaris. And
Wait,
while
he's
the
supposed to be
UE
General
may not be able to
Flag?
confirm the
That's
existence
funny.
Of Legionnaires, you can recreate your favorite scenes from the hit show on Spectrum. And don't forget to buy 2, so you can always keep one new in box, in case you're ever crazy enough to sell one. Legionnaires. They'll send the Vanduul back where they come from. Pirate Playground sold separately. Requires meshing for assembly.
That is too funny because it's literally a G.I. Joe
IAE show.
commercial.
Brought to you from New Babbage, the site of this year's Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, and your guide to the future of spacecraft and vehicles in the verse. Up next, we discuss A Time to Kill with Rich Tyra, John Crew, and Jared
I'm
Henry.
laughing right now,
Choose the
Brian.
channel. It's the IAE show, and it starts right now.
All right, thank you so much. Welcome to the IAE show. I'm Jared. We're here talking with Rich and John about the future of space combat, spaceship operations in our Persistent Universe game. There's a couple topics we're going to cover, one today and then 2 more as we go. I want to talk about something that is at the core of the entire spaceship experience, and that's time to kill. Now, right now in Star Citizen, as players have known it since 2015, your ship can take a few shots and then it goes, poof, you know, fiery explosion. A very impressive fiery explosion. Shout out to Mike Snowden and his team there. But that's not the experience that we've been building towards. And a lot of the changes that we announced at CitizenCon with insurance and whatnot, these are tied into the future direction of spaceships and life on board spaceships. Talk to me about time to kill. How long are these ships supposed to last? Are they supposed to go up like confetti like they currently do? And what's the vision for space combat supposed to be?
I think the first thing we need to talk about is moving away from time to kill and move towards time to disable. Because in the PU, ships are not always going to explode, but we want you to be in that loop of wanting to own your ship. Loss should matter. And we want you to put time and effort into your ship, and that means time and effort into keeping your ship alive, and if something does happen, getting it back.
We've talked about physicalized damage in the past. Is this just a matter of getting that physicalized damage system in, or is there more to it than this?
First off, physicalized damage is tied to our Maelstrom system, which you probably didn't know, but we saw for the first time in action for the Squadron demo. All the ships, for example, in the turret sequence were set up with Maelstrom and using our physicalized damage system. We're moving towards more a physically based system that actually works out the speed of the projectile, the collision, and then generates the force, and that force then dictates the damage that's associated with the ship itself. And what that means is that opens up a whole new area of gameplay for piracy, taking those ships back, repairing, going back to your ship, to actually either take it back to your own crafting hangar to be able to dismantle it for resources, or if you're the pirate itself, you can actually take it to the council and get your own ID on there. But ultimately, while we have soft death in the game right now, that's kind of a faked soft death. It's kind of just a slightly move in that direction, but it's not the full physicalized system that we've been working on for a long time. You know, when John says loss matters, it's something we need to start talking about. Well, if I have lost my ship and it does take a long time to get back, how does that impact me if I'm playing the game? What happens if that's my only ship? And I think that's where we need to start thinking about a more complex algorithm to deal with insurance claims and how you get your ship back. And then that directly ties into the TTK or TTD, time to disable, for us to be able to get these ships back. So if you think of, say, starter ships or ships that are small in nature, so like an interceptor or some of our small racing ships, those ships should be, like I said in the 1.0 talk, should always be readily available. So if you lose those ships, we don't really want to punish the player. It needs to be a symbiosis where loss matters and it needs to be impactful to your game experience, but it can't be so impactful that it stops you playing the game. Then it essentially curves up towards the more extreme scenarios. We need to have this almost agile algorithm that basically allows us to work out, like, okay, how many times have you lost your ship in the last hour? Does this player have only one ship on their account? How do we take that into account to make the player experience fair?
Of course, that's the ultimate penalty, loss of your ship. Until that point, we've got features like resource networking, which is the beginning of this time to disable, this extending the length and life of your ship to make it so that not only does it not explode right away, but the players, the members aboard the ship, have more opportunities to repair the ship. What is that experience supposed to be like on a single player ship? How do we keep that alive longer to the larger ones?
It's a two-way thing. Obviously, time to kill, time to disable is generally thought about as the aggressor's point of view, but it also matters to the victim of this combat encounter. We can't have it be so quick that you have no chance to do anything about that. So with physical damage and resource network, it moves it away from being a just sort of race to zero on the health. Items will start malfunctioning, forcing that person to make a decision of, am I gonna flee? Am I gonna deal with this now and take the risk? And then on the flip side, that gives you, as the aggressor, the chance to go, what do I want to do with this disabled ship now? Obviously, single seaters have less room for options in this scenario, but really the bulk of that gameplay is on the larger multi-crew ships, where you'll be moving around inside your ship, repairing, replacing relays. The engineer will be diverting power to different systems, just to sort of give everybody enough time to decide what they want to do in that scenario. And there's so many different scenarios that can be done.
Sounds like we're building a progression here. Are the larger ships intended to last longer? They have more lifespan. There's more that you can do to keep them alive. Am I sensing this right? Is there a progression here?
Absolutely. I mean, ultimately, we want you to progress in the game and build your fleet, whether that's solo or with a group. You need to be able to have some level of understanding that you're not going to lose it straight away. And the other aspect that I think is really important to see about in terms of when you say progression, it's not just progression for the TTK or TTD for across the entire spectrum of the game, or the progression for the player, the victim or the defender, or versus the attacker. When your ship is disabled, there's no way to bring that back. When we have the proper version where your ship components are gone and utilizing the physicalized damage, you can bring that ship back. And that's the huge difference. And that opens up this entire gameplay loop where you have towing and repair, and maybe somebody can repair it for you. And that's what, they've opened a nearby shop, so they're a repair shop and they give you good chances to repair versus cheaper prices than taking it to an LZ or a space station. So I think when we talk about progression, especially from my perspective, I want to see progression across all the professions. And hopefully people start to see, and it's the reason why we wanted to talk about 1.0, people start to see how all these things connect together. There's a reason why we did all these things over the last 2 or 3 years. It's not like we were just throwing a dart at the dartboard and hoping that, what feature is next. We had, it's that grand plan about trying to bring them all together. But ultimately, we want to be in a position where we can start to focus and connect all of the gameplay systems. And I think this is a key part of that.
Yeah, no, that's really exciting. This TDD, we're going to have to get in the habit of calling it TDD now, doesn't just open up the life of the folks who own these ships in combat. I'm really excited about it opening up, like you said, repair, refueling, rearming, all these things.
Absolutely.
It's like your ship hull is still there, even passenger transport. Like, hey, I need to get back to my to my ship, but maybe it's still in a conflict zone and everything, so I need help to get back. There's so many opportunities that increasing the lifespan of these ships gives to the game.
And just to be clear as well on that front, they're not end game professions either.
No.
Every profession in the game should have a starting location, so you can become self-sufficient if you want to play by yourself and you want to try and figure it out on your own. But then you can also engage in the community and be online. So there's definitely avenues that are available to you.
You mentioned the difference between PvE and PvP. So these changes on the surface sound great from a player versus player standpoint, from a player making their life in the verse, but trying to do some of our more basic missions and realizing that, okay, well, this time to disable change could make some of those missions tedious if it were applied
very hard
unevenly across.
There's two things to take into account. One is the fact that if we look at the balance across the entire game right now, and I'm going to say end game, the current end game, because the current end game really kind of finishes with medium ships. We don't really have the large ship gameplay that we want to add. But the current end game is probably too easy, and the current starter position in terms of the balance of these missions is too hard.
Give us some for the PvEers.
And the second thing was for PvP and PvE. So you kind of have this opposite end of the spectrum. You have this end of the spectrum, which
no,
is
I have not,
PvE
Halcyon.
side, where we want you to be the hero.
Have you?
And in that scenario, while we want to have challenging missions where you're going
I've been
up
offline
against
for a few days.
High target
Good to see you, by the
bounty who's in
way.
a single ship, and his ship is really well repaired. But we also want you to be able to go up against 4, 5, 6 ships as an encounter. Where we're going to start balancing that aspect is that those ships will probably be owned by bandits or pirates, and they'll be less well repaired, so they will be easier to kill or easier to disable. So if you talk about the PvE side, I think more ships will end up going critical and blowing up, so that
That's
you're not
good to
left
hear.
with just these 5
I think
ships. And
I
it's
think
also
there
part of the
needs to be
economic
more
balance, so that
missions
we don't
like
want you
it.
just
I like the
constantly
idea.
collecting ships. But ultimately,
Yeah.
we'll have that. We will balance it.
Those
where
big
appropriate.
heroic experiences where you feel like a badass killing.
Yeah, I haven't been
the same 5
as
things for
active
an hour.
lately. I felt
Exactly.
kind of
You want
down.
them all to go.
And then on the PvP side, we want to make sure
just
that
how
well,
things
even if
are
you're in a starship
lately.
and you're in a starship and we go and fight each other.
Had
or
to
I'm
take
in a
some
medium
me
ship and you're in a
time
medium
for a
ship.
few
You don't end up in a
days.
position where 5 seconds it's gone. But ultimately, I think you're going to get greater enjoyment if you had to wait
Probably
for
was
it
a
and
good
you had to have
idea.
some level of challenge. And that's where we want to be in a position where we can look at PvE and PvP and we can balance them in a way that gives us the
Yeah.
best experience for both of those players. And I think this comes back to what I said at CitizenCon. We genuinely want to strive that everybody who wants to play Star Citizen that there is a role.
I've also been dealing with house guests up until 4 a.m. this morning,
if they're going to
so
spend
really haven't had a chance to delve, into
all right, so
stuff like
so much.
streaming lately.
Time to disable, new term for the lexicon. Up next, we're gonna ask John Crew to take us on a photographic tour of his 4 dogs. It's 2 Spaniels and 2 Labradors. Stay tuned.
What? Are we doing this?
You thought you had the whole story, but there's still a lot you don't know.
Perfect.
What in the world?
Mark Avon is the bug maker.
Prequel shows are all the rage these days.
Bug makers. It's easier than the show about fixing them ever was.
Okay.
Welcome everybody to the return of
That's a
Quantum
reference
Questions,
to Bug
where we take a
Smashers,
CIG
but
developer,
okay.
Put them on the hot seat and make them answer as many questions in
Terrible.
under 2 minutes as they can. Joining us on the show this week is Vehicle Art Director Mr. Ben Curtis. Ben, how you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. You excited?
That almost made me sad because I want to play 4.0. Yet we can't.
And begin. Who are you and what do you do?
My name's Ben Curtis and I am Vehicle and Weapons Art Director at CIG.
Are you any good at it?
I hope so. I'll let our backers decide.
Jeffries tubes, yay or nay?
100% yes.
Why did the Polaris get so many new guns?
Because you want capital ships to be able to destroy things. But no, really, it just got PDCs.
Speaking of PDCs, are other ships going to get them now that they've arrived with the Polaris?
Yeah, we've added them to some existing ships already, and anything kind of capital ship and larger should get them.
Does that include the 890 jump?
Correct, yes.
Are you happy with the Polaris?
Very happy.
Tell us one of the ships from that CitizenCon tease of the next 12 months.
The Perseus.
Ooh, can you tell us another?
Perseus.
No. Why don't we make more variants of existing vehicles?
I think when it comes to variants, it's a balance of backlog ships, new ships that we want to
Perseus, baby.
And then kind of variants. And it's
you heard that, Halcyon?
If you could make a new variant of an existing vehicle right now, what would it be?
A bounty hunter cutter.
Oh, nice. What will be the next variant of an existing vehicle?
Super Hornet.
Oh, Retaliator model.
Super Hornet.
Which one are coming next?
Probably the dropship and habitations aspect.
Okay. What was your favorite temporary internal name for a ship or vehicle that never made it to the public?
We've come up with a code name, and all I'll say is you've got to catch them all.
Okay. Will the Connie get a Mark V after seeing how cool the Zeus is?
Probably not a Mark V, but it will get an update.
Okay. Caterpillar modules. Give us something tangible. What are we thinking?
I think we've obviously got cargo at the moment. I think there's lots of opportunities. We could do exotic cargo. We could do, I know everyone wants a mini carrier or that sort of mini ship.
Carrier. I was right. I called it.
Okay. Carrick blast shields?
Yes, in 4.0.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, I'm going to try to squeeze one more in. What is the next manufacturer to get a Focus after everyone frees up from the Polaris?
We're still on RSI, but we're also pushing on to larger MISC ships and Drake ships.
And what's the deal with the long dash of the Starlancer?
It's a subjective choice, and I thought it was really cool, and some people don't.
All right, let's find out how you did. And so after part 1, Ben Curtis sets the standard with a whopping 15 questions answered correctly. We'll see if John Crew can best him next time. Up next, Dan McCabe. Is he really all you need to make every spaceship?
Okay, this is... Jimmy?
All amazing.
Okay, Jax is around. It's like he's flipping the channels or
Prospector
something.
is the most popular single-operator mining vehicle in the UEE. Capable
was,
of breaking and gathering 32
what was that
SCU
show in the
resources
80s?
without the need
Dang
for
it.
additional staff and investment,
Airwolf.
like other offerings
Airwolf.
from Argo and its competitors.
It's
with
meant
fully
to be an
customizable
Airwolf
performance and a range of upgradable mining heads and gadgets.
Yes,
the MISC Prospector
but
is
sell the
crafted for
dang
miners in
ship.
business.
Come on.
Fitted with numerous quality-of-life features that make extended excursions a breeze, along with hardy defenses against smaller aggressors.
I've never
this
watched
craft is built
Airwolf.
to
It must have
handle
been
the
before
demands
my
of deep
time.
space resource gathering. Its iconic metallic blue MISC styling speaks volumes, telling the verse you're a dedicated tradesperson focused on success in every venture. The Prospector, like the MISC Fortune and every offering from the MISC line of industrial vehicles, blends form
Hold up.
and function. The MISC Fortune and every offering
Hold up, chat. I heard something.
on success in every venture. The Prospector, like the MISC Fortune and every
Like the MISC Fortune. Okay, they are actively mentioning that name. So, that name is real, and it is real. Okay.
The MISC line of industrial vehicles blends form and function into practical prosperity and are available for perusal.
Very nice there, Halcyon.
We return now to the IAE show, brought to you from New Babbage, site of this year's Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, and your guide to the future of spacecraft and vehicles in the verse. Today's topic, Capital Combat, with Rich Tyra, John Crew, and Jared Huckabee. Stay tuned, it's the IAE show, and it starts right now.
All right, gentlemen, thank you for coming back. We're here for part 2 of our discussion on the life of spaceships and Star Citizen. I want to follow up on something, Rich, that you kind of hinted at in part 1. You mentioned the Squadron 42 demo several times and this experience that was being built at. It's not just a cinematic thing for the start of the show. It's actually seems to be reflective of this capital warfare experience that we're attempting to build here. So I want to ask you outright, how is capital warfare supposed to work? What are we building towards, and why should folks be excited?
I think the first thing to sort of approach is it shouldn't just be the same gameplay as small ships, just scaled up. It needs to be, we talked about progression, it should be a progression of gameplay. So you can't just turn up, lob 50 torpedoes at a ship, press the I win button and go on. You've got to remove those defenses layer by layer. So capital ships have multiple defense, obviously they have turrets on them for shooting ships. They also have PDCs for disabling closer targets such as missiles and torpedoes, and then they have physicalized shield emitters, which is what you saw in the demo where Cal Mason sort of kites a Vandal ship into it. So you need to take all those things out in progression to stand a chance against a capital ship.
So it's not not just a brute force thing. I know a lot of folks are imagining just coming in with an A2 and dropping a Moab on top of an Idris or something like this. It sounds like there's a puzzle to be solved here. Is that how you would say it, Rich?
Ultimately, capital ship warfare should be a puzzle that you have to figure out. If you actually watch that cinematic for the Squadron demo, you'll notice that one of the lines is, "Hey Cal, I don't think your weapons are large enough to be able to take out that shield emitter, or that shield Jenny, as they say." And he says, "You may be right." And that is actually true. You shouldn't be able to turn up with small ships and small caliber weapons against a huge capital ship. And it's what we touched on in part 1 in terms of the physicalized nature of the damage. If I fire a small caliber pistol at tank, it's not going to do much. The reason why we have like an Ares or a Retaliator is to allow you to soften up the capital ship shield so that you can actually then get access to the shield.
I'm glad they're finally addressing this.
And the weapons that are actually keeping your fighters away.
Finally.
And the way that the shield faces work is that they're underpinned by physicalized shield emitters, which are then connected to the core shield generator, or in large capital ships might have multiple shield generators. So ultimately, your first foray should be like, okay, which shield face are we going to try and soften up and dampen to weaken it, to be able to then send in our a squad of fighters to be able to target certain shield emitters, another squad to be able to target the PDCs, or in case if you're taking a much larger ship, like a Javelin size, which will have flaks. So you'll have to basically figure out, okay, this group or this squadron will take on this squadron will take on this, and this is where the Hologlobe comes in terms of you're the admiral of the fleet, you're going, okay, right, I'm assigning you this target, and then if you're a fighter, you're going to then receive markers. And then obviously you're going to be connected to be able to say, okay, go now, I want you to attack now, because you need to have a coordinated alpha strike. If you just drip feed your damage over time, the capital ship will just be able to absorb it. So this is where you need to be able to go, okay, what's my tactics, what's my high level strategy? And then once you've taken out the PDCs and you've taken down a shield phase, that's when you've got essentially two options. One option will be to board, so you'll be able to then use our hacking gameplay, and then obviously you'll have to fight your way through to the bridge to be able to take over it. Or the other side is then you just, if your mission is to just destroy this ship, if you've taken down those layers of defenses like John says, that's where you then send in the torpedoes. So capital ship gameplay is again planned to utilize all the different roles of the different ships that we've made over the years, and it should be a significant challenge to be able to take out one of those larger ships.
Let's paint a picture here. What's one capital engagement supposed to be?
Well, let's just use Save the Idris event,
okay.
If you want to go through
Yeah, so realistically, when you're coming up to it, first thing you should be doing is scanning it so you know what you're going up against. You want to do a scan on it to work out where are its shield emitters, so then you can then plan, like we want to take the right-hand side shield emitter down. So we'll mark that as a target, give it to that group.
You might be sending in a Terrapin or a forward ship to be able to get scan data that then relays that back to you on the Polaris and your Hologlobe, to be able to go, okay, now I've got some information to work with, how do I then approach it from there?
Yeah, because one capital versus another capital is probably the worst scenario if it's literally two single capital. They need their fleets to reach their maximum potential, so you should be bringing these support ships with you. So yeah, you've scanned it, you've identified your point where you're going to be attacking, you assign a group of fighters from your ship or from your fleet, take away their fighters, try and attack their turrets, and then you run another group to sort of bring down those shield emitters. The majority of them will be under the skin, so you need to scan to find their locations and then target them specifically.
Using ADS.
Damage penetration.
Or precision targeting, as we should say.
So again, things like the two starfighters are great for this role. So you have the Inferno, the ballistics will penetrate through, damage it. The Iron, great to bring the shields down to allow those ballistics to go even easier to the hull.
You've got to take out PDCs as well.
Yep, PDCs as well.
So the PDCs won't just attack missiles and torpedoes, they will also
Greetings,
attack other small objects.
Lovely seeing you again. How are you tonight?
A safe zone or an entryway.
Been a while.
Punch through those defenses, and then you've got your options of either boarding or destruction, depending on what your objective is.
Sounds like something ideal for a light fighter, just taking down the PDCs.
Absolutely, like light fighter, heavy fighter, but you won't just be able to penetrate the shields on a capital ship because they'll be so heavy. So you'll need to use relevant weapon rate. That's where really the capital ship main weapons come in, because they're the ones that are actually doing the main damage on the shields to be able to soften it up, to allow their fighters and support ships. You can't just roll up and just try and out DPS it. I mean, you can, but you're rolling the dice. Is my ship, capital ship, going to be better than your capital ship? Am I going to be able to maneuver it well? Because that's the one thing to discuss about shield emitters. Right now, we have a shield generator that kind of creates a bubble, and we say, okay, this is this phase.
I'm glad you're doing okay.
And if you look at the wing, if you
probably
shoot the wing
taking
from
a
the
break
front
was a good
and it hits
idea.
The front of the wing, we just automatically
a lot of
like,
people
okay,
knock that,
face
but I'm
or
like,
the
if you
left
get
face?
burned
And
out,
for the player,
you
that's not
get
super
burned
obvious.
out,
So you want to be in understanding like, okay, well the shield actually hugs the ship, so we need to know, well actually that's the left face. So you as a player can go, right, that's what we're targeting, that's what we need to bring down, because otherwise these shield generators are so powerful on capital ships, they'll just be coming back.
And throughout all of that, we've sort of assumed that the target ship is just sat there.
Absolutely.
You have the opposite, like you're on the ship.
The defender is spinning the ship around, trying to put their stronger side towards the attack.
You're seeing all this fire coming to this side, so you're now trying to maneuver yourself to avoid that. Counter players, they're trying to take out your thrusters to stop you maneuvering, so it is a big puzzle.
So shields down, PDC is clear.
Glad you're doing okay, though.
This can go from a ship versus ship to a combined arms thing, which is really what's most exciting to me. This idea that you now have to send troops over to breach, and board the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also you might have to defend against being boarded. So if you're going up against another player, and they've got a Polaris and you've got a Polaris, or when we add the Idris into the game and you're coming up, then you're going to have different mixes of gameplay when you're fighting over.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, it is kind of daunting.
We've not really got to end game.
I'd only start playing myself if I were getting into it right now. Post 4.0, like 1.0 or so.
You need salvage, or you need
at about that point, it'll be a lot more content filled,
These types of battles, these types of combat and they're underpinned by so much more gameplay than what we've just discussed today. And I think that's where it starts to connect the loops.
All right, so that's just a little bit about Capital Warfare. Thank you so much for sharing. Our viewers are going to be incredibly excited about that. The Polaris obviously makes its debut at this year's IAE, and while these systems are still in development and will continue to come out in 2025 and beyond, just having this vision intact here, people will be able to judge decisions that come in subsequent releases against the direction that we're going to. So thank you so much. Up next, I have to have a very uncomfortable conversation with Rich. He's a player in my D&D group, and he's been a little too min-maxy. So, Rich, let's talk about this, shall we?
Absolutely.
The classic returns.
So today on Lore Makers, we're going to talk about Henry Brown, an exciting inventor who, in 1886, filed a patent for one of the most exciting inventions of all time, the file cabinet.
So it turns out that in North America, most of the melons that people think are cantaloupes are actually a different varietal of muskmelons.
With the story of the star system with the richest history in the UEE.
It started out as a private detective agency called Pinkertons, and not many people know this, but the Pinkertons actually became the foundation for the U.S. Secret Service.
And so then in order to sell more dictionaries, they changed a lot of the spellings of the word from the original
rabbit hole I
British
never
English
wanted to
into
hear
new
before,
American
but okay.
spellings.
The system they said couldn't be covered in just one episode.
In Arthurian legend, the wizard Merlin actually had an owl named Archimedes.
And so then with the radiation powering its core, it sort of rose out of the ocean and started destroying the city.
They were right.
You see, the founding fathers, they never intended for us to have Wi-Fi.
Now, the Colonel wasn't actually from Kentucky.
This summer, the Lore Makers return.
And that is how you get out of jury duty.
And so they needed a product
Oh
that would
my
leave their fur
gosh!
silky and
Why
smooth.
would you? Oh
That
my
was called
gosh!
conditioner.
With a new 365-part series.
So they were never actually lost. The island was purgatory.
Since he was coming from a comedic background, not a lot of people thought Michael Keaton could pull off the part.
Lore Makers Guide to the Galaxy. Welcome.
Okay, why are we
to
watching
Earth
this
Edition.
BS?
Nothing you want to know, everything you need to know.
So at the end of the day, down to brass tacks, there is nothing better than a breakfast burrito. I don't care what the breakfast taco lobby says.
And so then they looked at the baby and they said, your name will be Chris.
The RSI Polaris arrives on day 5 of this year's Expo.
Okay, that was
And instead of asking
completely
those who
random.
built it what
Yeah.
it's supposed to be like, we went to the folks
The
who know
release
these vehicles
timeline on
inside and out.
Squadron
The testers
Vengeful
dedicated
is
to putting
just
power
goofy,
through its
but
paces.
I think they're
We
trying
return now
not
to the
to
premiere
clash
of Pew Pew with the
with,
Polaris, presently in progress.
The
with
torpedoes are very interesting.
Grand
anyway.
Theft Auto
The scope for the
6
ship.
or so.
It's the first time. Yeah, first time S10.
I could be wrong.
Massive. Yes.
I think they do twice the damage of a size 9, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
They're trying very hard not to
especially
compete
when they hit.
They're
with
big, slow
GTA
missiles.
6.
Yes.
When
Might
that
need
game
changing,
comes
but we
out,
did
it's
do
gonna just
jousting with
swamp
it, during the PT.
everything.
And
Jousting
yeah, well, they
Just
were
saying.
coming at each other, and you just see them fire off, and it's awesome. It's good for a battle for sure.
All at once,
You have 4
they
tubes.
come one after.
Yeah, they're slightly staggered, so you get like 1, 2, 3, but there are 4 separate tubes. It's not like when you have it on the Talia, when you have it on the Eclipse.
It means you get to appreciate every single one that comes.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus, you get 28 of them.
Yeah.
Which is...
It's a lot. Yeah.
You can do a lot of damage.
Honestly,
in
it's a
Polaris.
juggernaut. You don't want to compete with,
and the revolving
regardless
barrel
of
pretty cool.
You know, if you're a Grand Theft Auto fan or not, or you're trying to avoid buying it,
Yeah, there's
Grand
like
Theft Auto 6
that's really
is just
sick when,
gonna
when the torpedo like rolls into it.
smash everything for a bit.
Chin
So
on the front. They now have bespoke guns
to the
on.
developers
They're now,
releasing
I
around
think,
its
size
time
6,
period,
when they were previously
good
size
luck.
5, but they're completely bespoke.
You're
to
gonna
the
need
Polaris.
it.
We basically made it as big as we could so that you could still see out of it. And the top man turret, I think, are now quad size 4.
Are they repeaters?
I'm not even a fan. Not even remotely interested.
The chin turret is.
But even I know.
You also have 2 remote turrets.
Not to do that.
One of them is just like.
True, I get it, but
which you get plenty of ammo for.
Yeah, those are your 2 support seats.
You know, it's marketing, dude. Marketing gonna market or market, I guess.
We have on any ship.
You know,
at the minute.
Is it not challenging?
That makes
like,
sense.
With the hammerhead.
The hammerhead is going to be close, I think.
Yeah.
But it's a similar experience, but with bigger guns. If you have a full crew.
Yeah.
I know we already paid for it. It's goofy though.
You also make
We
use of
really
them when you've got smaller
should
ships
be able to get
swarming
it.
around.
Yeah, 100%.
Having all the turrets
And
around
I
the
agree.
ship really helps with that. Not that they can do much damage to you anyway, because obviously.
True.
Strong shields on the ship.
It's going to be probably the strongest fighting ship we've got,
Yeah,
like combat ship we've got. They're pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It essentially means if you're getting fired by missiles, the guys that you've got on your turrets don't have to worry about them. You can sort of leave those to the PDCs and let the people in turrets shoot the actual ships that are shooting you.
Yeah. Won't hit everything, but you've still got your usual countermeasures. It's just
you've
that
got
extra
capital
buffer.
measures as well.
Oh, right.
Which are massive.
Yes, I've seen the smoke screen that comes out.
Yeah, and you can.
I know.
You can stack them because they're bigger anyway. If you stack a few of the flares up and then set them off at once, it's like a fireworks display. It's crazy.
Honestly, I wish they'd just
But
give
the
us a
PDCs,
bone
we
here.
did the first implementation of it, and I was testing it with Chris Danks, who's the designer, and like seeing the first time a missile locks, and then they immediately like sit up, turn, and then as it hits, they start firing. It's pretty awesome.
That's really cool.
They do only work.
Well, I was wanting to buy
if someone has
the
missiles
Fat
on,
Fury,
then the PDCs will
but
work,
that
'cause
did
that's
not
how they
happen
function.
this
But if someone's
year.
just done firing missiles or torpedoes,
They
like,
decided they
won't
weren't
see
going
it.
to give it to us today.
They might
Dumb
have.
idea.
I mean,
I
it's a big
will
target, so I
tell
wouldn't
you.
worry too much.
I was willing to dump money on it.
So yeah, guys, that's our review of the RSI Polaris. We hope you guys enjoyed. Wait, guys, we need to talk about all the 6 toilets.
Yeah, before I jump into anything else, let's have a look, shall we? So, currently, this IAE kind of makes me a tad mad, right? Because when you look at the pledge store, Vengeful, here's my comment. Currently, they have the Ares, this complete pack, Aegis, Misk, and Crusader. They have the Master Pack, which I think a lot of people need to buy this when they can. Oh, you're going F5 Wars? Good luck with that, man. You're going to need it. That's for sure. I was considering a Nautilus upgrade from something else, but I don't know. I'm just, you know. I don't know what I would upgrade it from, is the problem. Yeah, the Pioneer is going to be a very vital ship soon. A lot of people don't realize how soon. When even bare base building comes in, that ship will be a money maker. You'll just go around building settlements for people with contracts, you know. It's an easy org money maker. People have, I've heard some people laughing at me for saying that, but it's true. The Pioneer has its own resource extractors. Poke it in there, fabricate some stuff, sell to the client, right? And then move on. Yeah, I agree. I think my org has one, but we'll have to check. Like I said, I was considering this, the Mirai stuff, but they did not include the Fat Fury for some silly reason. It kind of angered me because I wanted to know, hey, how much am I spending tonight, right? It's going to be a giant game loop. Yes, exactly. Massive game loop. Lots of stuff to do. So, currently, there are a couple of good ships left. Let's see. Well, large ships. I think the only capital ship right now is the Endeavor Master Set, but that'll change. That will change. So, I was hopeful we would get a look at the price for the Guardian, but no, we didn't get a chance. Or the Starlancer build, which is kind of disappointing. Liberator, huh? That's an interesting choice, yeah. By the way, if anyone you know has the spare money or the credits, Vengeful, check this out. They are selling the rare aftermarket kit. Oh, the Guardian's the big Fury. The huge Fury. If you have anyone you know that has an Idris and wants to upgrade to the K platform and only has a ton of credit left, here you go. This is completely free. Well, you can buy this with credit, I think. Yeah, this is the credit non-war bond version. This is so rare, they only occasionally stock it. I have not seen the non-war bond version of that in a long time. But to answer your question, the Guardian is the larger Fury version. You know, the really big one. It looks exactly like the Fury, but it has an interior to it. So, yeah. It's really interesting. It depends on what you mean. Oh, Idris Javelin. I think it depends on if you know what you're doing and people quit treating the game like single player. This game predominantly is mixed. There's a lot more, though, catering to larger ships. I hate to say it. You know, multiplayer. This is basically a space MMO at this point. A lot of people will disagree with me, but the game is trending toward space MMO territory. Yeah, but that's the thing. Those are only the first 5. They've retconned that and said 5 systems are going to be for the initial 1.0 rollout, Vengeful. They're concentrating on getting those online so they can get other systems. You know what I mean? They clarified that they are still going to do other systems beyond the 5. You know, they have to. Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on it. Don't worry, I think the first 5 is just so they basically get things hammered out. That way they know exactly what's going on. Yeah, I know. 2 to 3 years away, it's fine. By the time we get Terra, they will probably already be done with the next 5 or so systems. Because by the time Terra is done, a lot of the, software issue or whatever, I don't even think it's hardware anymore. I think it's software issues. Yeah, the bugs will be written down so much that by that point, they'll be able to have actual people come in and clean up the bugs. Right now, I wouldn't trust anyone to bug fix the current game. I'm not a software developer, but I've been playing this game for 5 years. It's been a ton of changes. And when I first entered, it seemed like development was so slow in 2019. But into 2020, it was really slow. And I'm like, okay, should I consider dropping out? But then the production started to ramp up. Gradual at first, but then it started hitting some very big, important milestones. I think you know what I'm talking about. Remember, they told us, a lot of people assumed, rightfully, I believe, that Pyro or 4.0 would not make it. Yeah, I am too. 39 right here. Here's the thing. Pyro wasn't even supposed to be out right now. A lot of people were figuring March of next year it would roll out for Evo. And that was sometime last year. A lot of people were crazy for saying that. But here it is. It's already in Evo heavy testing. I just wish they would open up Evo to more people. That way more bugs get reported. That's my biggest nitpick with the whole situation. Not to be a wet blanket, but I just wish more eyes were on everything, right? I want more people to report bugs, fixes, things that need to be done. Limiting who can report bugs is kind of a stupid way to do things. My opinion. I know I'm probably going to get critiqued for it, but And I also agree with you. I'm definitely getting older too. Hell, I remember when this project was announced or rumored to be announced in 2011. I'd only been out of school 7 years at that time. I graduated from high school in 2004. Hey, OG Steve! Oh. Really? I froze? Hey, OG Steve, how are you tonight, man? Yeah, no worries. Man, I haven't seen you in a while, my friend. What's been going on with your life? I've been worried about you. I haven't seen you streaming in a while. You're okay, Vengeful. Yeah. I took I had a family member pass a couple of days ago. Well, about 2 weeks now. 2 to 3 weeks. Life unfortunately catches up with you, Steve. Yeah, things happen, you know, for obvious reasons. Things do happen. Yeah, it's been rough. My mom just sent my younger brother who lives in Japan. She saw him off to the airport this morning. He should be arriving in his prefecture sometime tomorrow, hopefully. It is good to see. Yeah, thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. I'm glad to see you're doing okay, too. Really glad. Anyways, what was I talking about? Yeah. I'm currently trying to get a friend into this. Well, kinda. I'm looking at them, but honestly, nothing really stands out to me this early in IAE. We're only in day 3, and really, there's not been anything great announced, Steve. Vengeful will agree with me. The only thing new is the Intrepid, which is kind of this wonky looking little thing from Crusader. And it's kind of ugly, but I like it. It's got character. Sadly, I don't get paid until the 2nd or 3rd next month. So it's got to be a while till I can even, buy anything this go round. But I don't think there's going to be very much announced this year. There were some rumors we were supposed to get a couple of awesome looking ship designs, and well, that didn't happen. It's a nice starter from marketing, yeah. Honestly, it's a starter for later in the game, Vengeful. I'll be honest with you. It's basically a later in the time period ship. If I'm going to be honest with you, because of the lack of weapons, it would be at home in a more peaceful system like Sol or Terra. Definitely not Stanton, Pyro, Nyx, or Castra. And I honestly know this because it's designed for later people to purchase it, not currently. You know what I mean? Sorry about the commercial, folks. It's about to hit. It is. There's going to be a lot more hardening of defenses and stuff. I can see this thing being useful, a lot more useful, Vengeful, in 2 to 3 years. You know, something to keep in your back pocket. Does that make sense? From a standpoint of gameplay, this is going to be your at-home basic ship, you know? Yeah. It's not going to be right now, but you're right. Closer to 1.0, closer to 2.0. You know. Just an opinion. I might be very wrong, but yeah. It's definitely ugly, that's for sure. Honestly, the design was uglier when it had a size 3 gun. I'm no lie. The size 3 gun did not do it any favors. It was ugly. Now, with a size 4, it's a little bit more bearable. Well, to understand how this game works, Steve, yeah. To understand how this game works, Steve, in stock, most of these ships are straight to flyable down here. However, when you see concept, that means they're not implementable in the game yet. Things like the Ranger TR RIP and what's it? All these Rangers and Endeavor parts and stuff, these are not currently in the game at all. They're basically placeholders until they're ready to be deployed by the development team. Well, you can buy them, but it's like a pre-order from a video game. You know, subject to change and maybe a while. YOLO, Red Stranger. Limited ships are only there to create what? Doing great, Red. How are you? Man, a lot of people online tonight. A lot of people. Oh, fear of missing out. Yeah. Basically, yeah. They're starting to get good at adding old ships that have already been sold into the rental pool, you know, in the in-game ship yards and stuff. Yeah, definitely. I still wouldn't buy any of the expensive ones. And I'll tell you this much, dude. The bigger ships get really expensive. They do. The most expensive normal ship in here is a gigantic behemoth. This right here, Steve, is a 3,000. This, your eyes do not deceive you. This is a 3,000 US dollar capital ship that, okay, first to note, this ship right here takes 80 players to man. It is not for a single person. Oh, it's soon, Red. Very, very soon. Yeah, basically. Honestly, I let people buy that. I've spent a lot of money over the years myself, closer to 12K. So I have a package of my own with a similar size ship, but I don't need a Javelin. I have my own troubles with an Idris. The Idris frame is almost as big. It's a frigate. Yeah, no worries. No worries, Vengeful. All good. Let me show you. This is my largest ship. Okay, where is it? I want largest ship. This guy. This is an old drawing for the Idris P. It looks totally different now. But this ship is huge. I've had it for about 1.5 years now in my fleet. When Squadron 42 comes out, Steve, that's supposed to be arriving. It's a ship with up to 28 crew members. So, yeah, it's something, you know what I mean? Really something. It's a powerhouse. Yeah, but that's the old picture. Let me see if I can find a modern picture for it. For the Idris, let me see. Capital. A current picture for the Idris. It looks like this. It's this big, bulky behemoth that looks like this. The bridge is up here, like a Star Destroyer. Up above the deck of the ship. That's where the deck is on this ship. Way up here. Well, the command structure. Way up here. Oh, it's soon, Red. Very soon. Definitely. Probably. Mine must be super dead. But yeah. Yeah. See, this... Oh, by the way, see this area here that's got like a gridded up front here and here? This slides open. Yeah, they modernized the art for how it works. It really does, doesn't it, Red? Yeah? See, it opens up. This prow area, the bow area opens up. It's a hangar. You put 2 or 3 fighters inside for the Idris. It's basically a capital ship that also acts as a squadron. Well, it can carry a small accompanying group of fighters. So it's not totally defenseless against any threats coming in. It can defend itself pretty well. Yeah. Okay. So about this guy. So we're in the middle of IAE. We've had 2 days already. Day 1 was Crusader and Tumbrel. Day 2 was Aegis Dynamics. Day 3 was Musashi Industrial and Starflight Concern, or MISC and Mirai. Tomorrow will be Gatak, Apoa, Banusuli, and Asperia. Day after that, which would be Tuesday, will be RSI. Day 6, Argo, Consolidated Outland, Grey Cat Industrial, Kruger Intergalactic. Day 7, Drake Interplanetary, which will be Friday, I guess? Yeah. Saturday will be Origin Jump Works. And Sunday will be Anvil. Yeah. Best in Show follows then. And then the finale where everything's gone. Everything leaves the sale shop, the limited edition stuff, the 5th of December. If you want to buy anything and happen to get a check before, say, the 1st, this is your final foray this year. Definitely. You still can, Red. But I would wait a bit because right now it's just, yeah. Getting into it's very difficult at the moment. Oh, it doesn't meet the requirements? Oh, shoot. That sucks. Yeah. The requirements for this game are pretty extenuating at the moment. I was hoping they would change it, but... yeah. Yeah, it's at least a couple of years before they optimize. Well, my Wi-Fi has been upgraded, and plus I am now with 2 months. I dream of a world where Grand Junk 1.0. I think it'll be sooner than we think, OG. But like Vengeful said, once they optimize it, once they optimize this crap, it will run so much smoother and so many more people will be able to play, you know, compared to now. so many more people will be able to play. It won't be like now, right, guys? Where only the people who have BS money enough to invest in a setup that can run it will be able to run it, but other people will be able to run it with potato PCs. Yeah, Red, that does sound good. That's coming around for you. Oh my goodness. Whew. I've been having technical issues tonight. I don't know why. It's just, yeah. Well, it's going to push probably current PC systems, Vengeful, not today's systems. Well, yeah, today's systems, yes. Here in about 5 years, PCs will probably be a lot easier, you know what I mean? Or more powerful. So, yeah, it'll push them, but it'll still be way better running than they are right now. I get what you're saying, yeah. But it won't just be like in your face bad all the time, you know? That's at least what I'm hoping. While I'm here, I'm going to show a video for, what am I looking for? It is, where is it? Yeah. I agree with that, Steve. This individual named Galactic Geographic, if you would please give them a follow if you haven't already, folks, has compiled a list of the timeline it took for stuff to be assembled in, you know, the map to come in and be all put together for, you know, the map we know today in the 29th, 30th century, and it starts in the 21st century. Anyways, these are solar systems discovered over time and major historical events throughout the Star Citizen timeline. Yeah, like I said, follow Galactic geographic fleets. They really put some effort into this. Thank you. Sure, he'll appreciate it. All right, the red systems are the current enemies of the human empire. Notice the invasion lines start to head towards Sol. This is Earth right here. Little known thing. These aliens are heading toward Earth's space. Not quite yet, Red. The Earth's solar system is still a good distance from where we are in the galaxy. Unfortunately, it's a very long way away. We're basically in the Terra arm for, various reasons. So far, the current systems in progress. According to CitizenCon, the first system, of course, was Stanton, but it was originally going to be Terra. Very much after that will be Pyro. which is already in the PTU. Well, ePTU. But still, this is heavily already pretty much done. They're just trying to get it implemented, right, Vengeful? They're basically implementing Pyro now. It's not, incomplete. Pyro is actively being implemented. After Pyro, the next system, which I had suspected for a while, System 3, will be Nyx. This is the third system we're getting. It's only 4 planets, no moons, two asteroid belts, so pretty simple compared to Pyro. Not as many planetary bodies, large ones. I think they might add a couple of moons to Nyx 3, but if they do, it's going to be it. Oh, you mean planets like in the Earth's solar system? Okay. Never mind. But yeah. So this is System 3. Castra will be System 4. Castra has 2 planets, spread across 22 astronomical units, no mining resources. I think Castra being in gray box, things could still change. So this is System 4. We have Bullseye and Cascom. And one of my favorite types of science fiction planets, Steve or Red, are these ringed terrestrial planets. These are some of my absolute favorite planets, period. This is Cascom from Orbit. It's a ringed terrestrial planet. Right. After this system, which the next 2 after Pyro are small systems. And by small, I mean simple, but still important. I get why they're doing this. Where is it? Going back to Pyro. Going Stanton. This is our current solar system. Hurston, Crusader. We want Terra. Terra is this system. I have reason to believe they have already conducted final art or before pre-production, because look at these pictures, folks. Look at these art pictures of Terra. Arrow, we have art for Arrow, Pike, Terra, and Gin. Normally when they do this, they're already at some level of development, right, Vengeful? Even if it's not, green lit for being produced at the moment. I'm kind of splitting hairs here when I'm going to say this system's already in progress to a degree. It's not like they, are just sketching it for no reason. Terra, I think, is already probably pre-production. They are in the works, exactly, Vengeful. Because Castra, remember, the 4th system is already in gray box. So when they're in gray box, they're past white box. They're heading toward white box. Yeah, not what I want. Yeah, I think they're at a certain level of development. They're not production yet, but they are getting there, or they're about to jump into it. You know, they're pretty much about to start development. Now, the reason Red and Vengeful, yeah, I hope they are close to finishing. I think Terra is still being planned out because remember, I hope so too, Vengeful, but remember, Terra's the technical regional capital of where we are. So this system is super important. Also, its landing zone is monstrous. Prime. If they are still gonna do the massive Prime landing zone, yeah, it's gonna be fun. Because if it has all these freaking districts, man, whoo boy, Prime's gonna be fun. Prime is a massive megapolis. It's just gigantic. I'm not saying they're going to do all of this, but they might, because they want to make it the crown jewel of 1.0, basically. It's basically meant to be the crowning jewel of years of planetary development. If that makes sense, Vengeful, Yeah, it is. So yeah, if you look at, okay, going back to this, there are 3 landing zones on Terra. You have Prime, Quasi, and New Austin. We also have Ancorum, Kutarem, Magnetic Ridge, Nova Kiev, State of Aztec, and Terra University. Some of these might have their own landing pads or landing establishments. Who knows? At this point, these might become like minor landing areas. You know what I mean, Vengeful? They might decide, these places are seeing so much traffic, we're just going to throw in another landing zone, right? The sky's the limit, really. Ooh, finally. Looks like YouTube's cooperating, finally. Thank God. I wonder. Hey, Squirrel Lord, what's up, man? What up? What up? I was explaining to a lot of people how CIG poorly, in my opinion, explained how far along they're technically in development, of the other systems, because I don't think they covered it. Somebody really should post a comment about it, because oh, Squirrel, Are you still out of power? Red was asking. Yeah, you're right, Vengeful. I think the reason they're doing these systems, I have a hunch. They're basically building up a template to churn out systems a lot quicker. Yeah. With these first 5, we get super Earths, terrestrials, irregular moons, asteroid belts, minor planets, like, stuff, regular Terran planets, gas giants, among other planetary bodies. Oh no! Shoot, what happened, Squirrel Lord? Tell me. What happened? I do agree with you, exploration will be weird with 3 to 5. I don't think they're gonna hesitate. They're gonna do it. So what happened? Did you get in a tornado or something? Oh, you live just outside Seattle. Your neighborhood and surrounding neighborhoods got hit hard? Oh, I was seeing that on the news. Jeez, man, that sucks. I am sorry to hear that. The rest of my viewers send their sympathies as well, Squirrel. It's just sad, man. You have no power, and you're higher up latitude than me, so you're fixing to get cold soon. Like, really soon. The winter is about bomb hurricane. Oh, okay. Yeah. The best thing you can do, Squirrel, is put a post, a tag in your community tag on YouTube about the power outage through your phone, if you can. That way people know you're having difficulties, That's probably what you're going to have to end up doing. I'm not trying to be rude, but it will let your viewers know what's going on. Oh, yeah, doggos don't like this weather. Poor doggo. Sorry, guys, I'm making sure a friend of mine, his name is Squirrel Lord, he's over on YouTube. You'll find him. He's having issues with his power and electrical. Oh, you did? Good. You know what? I'm going to do you a solid, my brother. Hang on just a minute. I'm going to do you a solid. Okay. And see you later, brother. Here, if you guys can give Squirrel Lord a favor or follow, this is his YouTube handle. Please, I'm sure he would really appreciate that right now. He's also a very good combat streamer. He's really good at it, and he's definitely better than me, that's for sure. Did you a solid, Squirrel. There you go. the least I could do for your help. That's unfortunate, yeah. Hey, 07 Vengeful. See you in a bit. What's wrong, Red Stranger? You good? No worries, man. It's all good. The last thing you need right now is... Never mind. Yeah, don't. I'm running multi-screen, so don't worry about it. Yeah. That's Wednesday. What's going on here? Yeah, you're okay. You enjoy teaming up with him? Yeah, Red's good. He's a good friend. Yeah, definitely. Anywho, I'm glad you're okay, Squirrel. I've been worried about you for a while. I haven't seen you in a bit. Glad you're doing fine. Glad you're doing better. Hey, Red. You have a good one. Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate it. You have a good night. Yeah, that's my biggest worry is if the structure of your house got compromised, you know? The structure of your home gets compromised. People be like, nah, man, you're staying in a shelter. And you know how shelters can get. There could be some... The shelters can get pretty rough when you're sharing it with a lot of people. You know? I'm not trying to be, rude to people, but man, yeah, no worries, you're good. But whenever, during bad weather, shelters, there could be some pretty rude people in there if you're good. I'd still get an inspector to check it out once things settle down a bit. Yeah. Definitely, probably a good idea. Yeah, it's really not, Steve. And I should know. I live in Tornado Alley, Oklahoma. I I thrive in the unfortunate of weather. Tornadoes and me are not friends. We are enemies. I hate tornadoes. I've lived here for 40 years and I still hate tornadoes. Good, you had non-perishable. Smart man. Yeah, every spring we had to play roll of the dice, Like that every spring. I'm not a fan of it. Honestly, man, I've never had, the house has not been hit where I live, but I do know friends and former friends and acquaintances who've had homes hit. It's not a great thing when you lose everything. Yeah, people make him out to be a joke, and they shouldn't. I've seen people say, "Oh yeah, hurricanes, they're way worse than a tornado." The thing is, hurricanes are huge, and you usually get advanced warning when a hurricane is coming in. Tornadoes, on the other hand, not so much. Tornadoes are small, localized, and when they hit, usually it's a specific, tight, tiny area that is affected. You know, even the largest tornadoes are tiny compared to a hurricane. Not to diminish from hurricanes. Don't understand. Hurricanes are just as dangerous. But I've seen some people say hurricanes are worse than tornadoes. It's debatable because, you know, they're both pretty bad. You know, we're not playing measuring stick of, well, yeah, 60-mile-per-hour winds can throw crap. EF1 tornado can snap tree limbs, uproot ill or wet, trees with loose root systems. Yeah. It's wonderful things like that have made me start considering, yeah. That's what has made me start considering getting a storm shelter. We don't have a storm shelter in this house. I'm sorry to say. I wish we did. Storm shelters would be nice, but out here on the plains, it's hard to get them. And they're so expensive because it's like highway robbery to even get them. Sometimes I think these companies that produce them just make them to make money. But I digress. You still should take shelter during severe weather. Yeah. All right. What is tomorrow again? Sorry, I'm double checking something. What is the next day? So the alien ships are tomorrow. Okay. RSI, Monday. Actually, today is Sunday. Tomorrow is Monday. Golly. I have not been asleep. I didn't sleep well a couple of nights ago, folks. So pardon me. It's just been, yeah. They do. You're absolutely right, Squirrel. They do. Much safer that way. Exactly. Well said. They really are when you're lost. I didn't even tell you, Squirrel. The reason why I haven't been online in a while, I kind of had to take some leave. My brother passed away the night of the 7th. The funeral was last week, Monday. It's just been a nightmare the last 3 weeks, trying to pick up the pieces, fix things, you know. It's been bad. My poor mom, she's grieving the loss of her eldest son, and she's having to go back to work tomorrow. Yeah. It's still not easy talking about it. You know, he'd want me to be doing stuff like this, you know, things I enjoy instead of moping around. I knew how he was. He was a very wonderful person. He wouldn't want me hanging around, you know, being all depressed. He would physically kick me if that were the case. He had that mentality. He wouldn't really kick me. You know what I mean? I'm just saying his attitude. He would kick me into gear and be like, you need to get up, get going, move, you know, do something. You can't sit here forever. Life rolls on and things roll on like that. You grieve and then you move on, you know. Speaking from personal experience. I'm glad you're doing okay, though, Squirrel. Yeah, my brother was really one of those few people, you know, those few people that really knew how to stick it to you. And a lot of the times he was right. He would want me to continue on my path for college in the spring and, you know, keep forward with my plans. You know, do not deviate from my course. Well, it's true. I do miss him now. I remember all the good times, you know. You know, the happy memories, the good vibes, you know. Anyway, Squirrel, I hope you get your power back soon, my brother. Because that really reeks. You can't even play right now. You can't even play your game right now. That sucks. Yeah. He and me bonded over a lot of things. True, we were different in our own unique ways, you know. He is a very avid wrestling fan. I've thought about going to an event, meeting his favorite wrestler of all time, Triple H, and getting a picture with him. and memorializing it with him, you know. Just a thought. I thought about going to some of these wrestling events. Anyways, while I'm on here, yeah, it could be fun. It really is. Hey, Steve, I'm glad you hopped in here tonight to say hello. I'm really happy you did. I was very worried about you. Well, yeah, I want to just, you know, he liked traveling and so did I. So I've made a conscious decision to lose some weight, start traveling again. I actually have a subsection on my YouTube channel. Let me show you. It's Zyron Travels. Let me see if I can find it. It's a playlist. So far, it's only got one video. So far. This is at a local visit to a local store, you know, in Mustang, Oklahoma. Yes, this is a face reveal. If you didn't know what I look like, here you go. This is my local, it's got all kinds of stuff. A lot of stuff. I mean, I've thought about covering some more local dives, you know, for anime collectors and, you know, Nixie Necks and stuff like that. You know, adding to my flavor of my channel a bit. Spice it up a bit. More than just Star Citizen's live streams. This video proves it has some traction. It was posted in June and I have like 8 likes, so yeah. I've thought about, you know, doing some more of these, obviously, and going some places, you know. What do you guys think, Steve and Squirrel? Sound like fun? A good idea? Yeah, kind of expanding the scope of what I do. It's got a separate playlist, you know, of things to do. I mean, it's just an idea playing with. I travel a lot. Yeah. That's what I'm feeling, Steve, because this is on my only video in here so far, but I've thought about adding to it. There's a couple of other places I'm going to scope out and probably visit them with in the next couple of days. You know, give me something to do. Right. You got a point. You have a real point. Even if it's something you like, when it's always the same, it can grind. Yeah, I agree. That's a good way to look at it, Steve. Anyways, I did ask permission from the YouTube from the store owner. So let's see what I past self had to say.
7, this is Zyron. I am in Mustang, Oklahoma, checking out a brand new, they've been open a total of 3 weeks, anime and board game store. All kinds of stuff, we'll just say that. Called Primal Nerds. It's here at the, basically it's near Czech Hall in 152. And you can visit their website at primalnerds.com. Anyways, they have a wide selection of Warhammer paint, right? Warhammer paints. Model paints, I'm sorry. These are just they also have Gundam models. A bunch of them. Some cool ones at the moment. Artwork. Static figures.
Sorry, I'm sweating like a horse in this, guys.
Of magic packs and Pokemon cards for your pleasure as well. You're the owner, right? This is our owner, Sean. And
Sean.
their wonderful selection of D&D cards. Sorry. Let's see. This is their awesome gaming space, which is huge. It's huge. This is a 3,000 plus foot total space. So it's awesome. And they got all kinds of stuff in here.
Sorry, I had to showcase my video.
Warhammer figures that you can paint for your armies. Other awesome stuff. T-shirts. Cool stuff.
Yeah. Now remember, Steve, whenever I go in places like this, I have a rule. I have to ask the proprietor if I can have permission to do this. If they say no, anyways, I won't. You know, out of their
Sean
out of the
been doing pretty good so far. And
out of
he would love to have your business. So this has been Axis. Please pay Primal Nerds a visit, either in person or at primalnerds.com. This is Axis, signing off.
Yeah, anyone who doesn't ask permission to do that stuff gets super grade A annoying quickly. I mean, I understand you're trying to earn your keep, but don't do it at the expense of other store proprietors, you know? I'm just saying, you know, don't do it at the expense of other proprietors, because like you said, Steve, that'll get obnoxious super quick, right? Super obnoxious, super quick, and I wouldn't want to talk to you at that point, you know? Yeah. I'd be like, who are you again? Oh, wait, you're the delivery boy that skipped out on my pizza. Excuse me. But yeah, it's just an idea I had dabbled around with. There's a ton of places in and around this area, the state. Oh, wow. Cool. Friend of mine's been busy today. Yeah, and I agree with you, Steve. Not asking permission, bad mojo move. You know, who does that, right? Not good. It's not good manners. I obviously would ask, hey, do you mind if I advertise you on my YouTube channel? And exactly. I said I would put out a serious plug for you and a totally non-biased, commentary. And I did enjoy looking around his place. It was really nice, really well put together. So honestly, I think a lot of people would like seeing D&D, gaming stores, places in and around my region, if they're ever out here, and they're like, hey, I might stop by because I see this on a video. Not only would it help my channel out, but it can help out the proprietor of local businesses. When I say local, I mean like the Oklahoma City metro area, which I don't know if a lot of folks here know. The Oklahoma City metro is gigantic. It's pretty big. Stretches across 3 counties, east to west. Exactly. I mean, look how popular the video is. It has 8 likes, Steve, and that's pretty good for just one video, That's just trying it, as a gauger. A lot of people seem to like it. There's a couple of other places I might try. Let's see. Let's look up. We have a lot of Lego stores out here. We have another toy store here called Nighthawk Toys. They're just down the road on Mustang Road. What is it? Might try them next. What do they sell? Ooh. Yeah, a lot of nerds would appreciate that. I agree with you, yeah. Niche stores probably would attract more than big chain stores, right? In your opinion? I think niche stores would probably be better to advertise because of the locality of my channel, Just an opinion. Well, yeah, I know I might try to go for some bigger stores. True. Maybe a mix of both, you know. Also, landmarks that are interesting. We have some interesting landmarks in this area, you know, like things to see and do, you know. And let's see. We have several state parks. The nearest one to us that's really interesting is Red Rock Canyon, which is in Hinton, Oklahoma. It's about a 50-minute drive to the west. We also have Fort Cobb State Park Lake, Central State Park Beach. Yeah, there is a beach here. But yeah, it's debatable what to do, you know. It's just the furthest west I've traveled in Oklahoma is the end of the Panhandle, Oklahoma, which is Black Mesa State Park. Yeah, you're probably right for standing out, you know. Definitely. You got a good point. Yeah. You got a very good point. So we have One Stop Anime, which is our largest anime retailer that's non-chain. True. Let's see. Might even try in surrounding states. You know, which there's a lot of places I'll probably never get to. Steve, because of it's how far things travel. Really close. I guess I can improvise and just also add, you know, local tourist attractions and things like that. But we'll see. I mean, it's just something I'm basically playing with, see what happens. museums and other things are also places to plug in. May not get as much of an appeal, but, you know, it'll keep things interesting. That's what I'm trying to say. Definitely interesting, that's for sure. Either way, I'm also thinking of getting some capture cards for stuff I do, you know, gaming wise on the Switch and other things, you know. I'm playing with other ways to diversify not only stuff to do, but also, you know, streaming in general. So, you know, things don't just get stale. Anyway, Steve, I gotta get some sleep. It's almost 11 here. I appreciate you stopping by, buddy. I'm going to probably raid another channel. I don't know who yet. Let's see. Tonight was just an impromptu stream, you know, and I don't even know who's online. Overboard. Okay. Let's go with Hot Thunder. Raid them. Yeah, boss. You have a good night. 07, everybody. Go give Hot Thunder a follow when you join him. And I will catch you all later. 07.